So, hello all. I will refactor one of the queue jobs of the Panda project. And yeah, it's about this one. And depending on repository size, this queue job can take up to several hours right now. And the main issue that, hey, pushback, that makes this job running so long is this code block, and in particular this line here. The problem here is that GitHub only returns the first 500 contributors as a full user object, and all remaining contributors are returned as anonymous users. I will check if I can find an example. And this anonymous user has only the email address. And as every GitHub user can have multiple email addresses, I have to check it against every email address of the users. Sorry, I'm searching for an example endpoint to showcase the GitHub response. Okay, here. And so I have to match every of these email addresses. Yeah, wait a moment. Okay, so here is an example of the Laravel repository. And we are on page 7 with every page 100 users. So here are the anonymous user entries. And yeah, I can show these email addresses as the data is public anyway. And yeah, I don't have the user IDs. So okay. So I have to check if this email address, for example, belongs to any of the users already in the Openda database. And I will also increase the font size in PHP Store. So, okay. I hope this is better now. And yeah, this is exactly what this line does. On the user model, I have the emails as an overloaded attribute. So if there's a GitHub access token on the user, I will cache the response of GitHub for 1 week. And yeah, so this endpoint bit returns all email addresses for the authorized user. So yeah, after this, I get an array of all emails belonging to this user, and I can use this in array function here. But because we already have around 20,000 users in the Openda database, I have to walk over 20,000 users per contributor in the response. So if I have a repository like the one that I've mentioned in the tweet with over, I think they already have around 25,000 contributors or 26,000 even. This gets to a very big amount of iterations and checking the email addresses. And because all this happens synchronous in the same job, this job takes so long. And the idea is to do only this call here and this load repository contributors job, and dispatch another job doing this logic here into the same batch. So I will use queue batches, but this job will be finished in, yeah, whatever, 1 minute, 5 minutes. We will see. And I will dispatch, for example, in the named repository 26,000 jobs to the queue. And every of them runs this logic, trying to find a user. And yeah. Okay. So it's just the problem right now. And yeah, I've already done some migration for the job batches table. If you check out Laravel documentation, this is the first command you have to do here. PHP artisan queue batches table. I've slightly adjusted it to my needs. So the default one, for example, has only string here, and it's a UUID. So I can also use the official UUID type here. And all these integers are also unsigned, which isn't by default, I think. And yeah, I've slightly changed the order here because first thing that happens is created, And normally every of these will finish, and only cancel is the exception. So it's fine to have this as a last column. And yeah, drop it if it exists. I also use this void return type hint here in migrations because they don't return anything. And for the callback, I always add this static because they don't use any of this methods or functionality. Johnny had a question. Do you iterate through every single email? Why not chunk? I'm not really iterating through every single email. So I always get some chunked because the response returns per page, which is 100 by default. So GitHub returns 100 user entries, and I will check every of these 100 entries if there is a user in my database I can assign to it. And every of the entries has an email address. And here I walk over all users. I have queried them here. So they are part of the job memory, and try to find the first one. I'm also not sure if it's really the right way to have the emails, for example, as an overloaded attribute. So if I would put them as a JSON column, for example, in the database, and I'm using Postgres, I could very likely speed it up by using database queries. So this could also be a new optimization. But even without this, there's still an enormous block. So even if every single iteration here only takes, name it, half a second, for example, we have 26,000 entries by half a second. So we have 30,000 seconds, 13, sorry. And this is 216 minutes. And this is still nearly 4 hours, so a bit more than 3.5, which is still too much for a single job. And yeah, I think batches are exactly for cases like this. So I will rework this one now. Okay, so I have this migration here. So I can migrate database now. Don't worry, this one is another migration I've created, not related to the batches. And here we have the job. So this one is batchable now. And what I want to do is something like response each. So I get an array for every of these. And don't know, possibly return a Boolean here and do this batch. I think it's add, yeah. And does add return anything? Okay, it returns self. So yeah, it returns job no here. Okay, so it returns a badge. So we can have void here. And now we need a new job. Load repository contributor. So let's go this way. For the moment, we can rename it later. And I've created this GitHub base job here. So I can save some stuff here and yeah, we get the repository we want to add the contributor to. And don't know, let's reduce it to 5 minutes for the moment. And I get also an array of the contributor data. So this one. And next thing we are doing is not this one. So there's the contributor data here. And we'll try to find a user. So I will first try it with cursor, so that I'm not loading all users into memory, but only one per. Or could we? There's a new one, I think. It's a lazy one. And this could be a bit faster for the moment. As it doesn't do a query to the database for every single user. So instead of 26,000 queries to the database, for example, we have 1,000 or 260 queries with 1,000 results each. So I think this will be faster. And yeah. So now we have the user here and can sync it without detaching. I'm not sure. Okay, I have to use an array. And let's fix code style to get rid of all these beautiful yellow lines. Okay. So now I haven't really changed anything here. Oh yeah, okay. So, oh no, I have to user I don't like the empty method this much, but for this case, it's perfect as it covers an undefined and a null value. So exactly what we have here. And yeah, so it hasn't changed much for the moment, except of moving this whole block to a new class. So in total, this won't need 6 hours because I have 10 workers on the production server. So if we dispatch 26,000 jobs, it will theoretically go 10 times faster. In reality, I think 3 times or something like this, because we have, for example, hit the database all the time and get all the users. But still faster. And yeah, now we can dispatch the repository contributor job with this repository and contributor. How do I? Oh, okay. So I have to add it as an array, even if it's only one here. So could it be faster if I am doing, or possibly easier to read, if I'm doing a map here? Map and say add positive contributor and returns this one. And put it here. So at least we've saved 2 code lines. And now these 2 lines are back in. But I think that this is still a bit better. Oh, yeah, because of the large font size, I think this line is longer, so this is still fine. Okay, so we can reduce the timeout, and we also don't have to back off 1 hour by default. So the GitHub job has a back off strategy here. First time it has to back off 1 minute, 15 minutes, 13 minutes, and everything beyond it will back off 1 hour. Okay, so we always have this this block here. So this one is also batchable, and I think I want to offload it to the GitHub job, so I don't have to copy it to every single job. and okay. So first check if the batch is cancelled, and now after this the block check. So I don't have to use a batchable trait here because it's in the base job. Okay, so server is running, and I can go to the back office. Check horizon, and let's check out which repository it was that. Here we have it. So I will add the repository to my local environment now. Okay. I will just think about this. So app models repository from name, and that's it, or should be. Okay, so there are a lot of other jobs, but oh, okay, wait. We don't have any batch, I think, because this job wasn't dispatched as a batch. It was only dispatched, and I would have to dispatch it as, or into a batch. So where is it? Is it in the observer? Yeah, here. Okay. So it's a bus facade. We are using new now. And for the moment, we will only dispatch it. Okay. And because we already had Tinkerbell open here, oh, okay. So seems like the adjustment here wasn't right, and we have to use data. So by default, this was a integer or a big integer even, but if possible, I don't want to use a simple integer. Okay, so seems like there was a real reason. Okay. To do so. So I will only do this UUID here and this is unsigned, and I want to have it this order, and this one was a JSON. So okay, has catched it. Not important. So it's a benefit of local environment. Okay. And here's a badge. Okay, here it is. So So an easy way we can clean up the Redis queue here. Okay, so batch is in the database. We will see if there was anything required in the Redis to run this batch. So it has one total, it has one pending. But it doesn't tell me anything if it's running or what happened. And I believe it's not running because we have, or I have flushed the whole Redis. So now I've also flushed the database. So okay, and now we have this one here. And can only wait if anything happens. Oh, okay. So this batch wasn't dispatched to the right queue. So it will never run. So seems like I have to define the queue also where I dispatch the batch and not only for every job. So next try. We have a new dispatch job. And batches we now have 2. So this is the right one. But oh, okay. Why is this job on? It even says Queue GitHub, but here it says Queue default. And if I go to here, so this is a GitHub job, so queue is defined. Nothing in here. No name. Oh, sure. If I dispatch from, okay, and here you've seen it has started load repository contributors. Now it has a mass of these at repository contributor and batches. Okay, here we already have 2,900. So yeah, you see it dispatches the jobs way faster than it is able to finish them, which is fine because I wanted to speed this job up so that it finished within minutes, seconds. I don't care this much about this specific time here, but okay. But every single job should finish or should take hours at least. So in total, I think I would have to wait hours or still have to wait hours. But this also is way easier to debug. And yeah, so in case, for example, if I would have a bug or whatever, an exception in this code block here. So for example, primary here, which takes Redis and database, and if the key isn't existent in Redis, it will do an API call. So if anything goes wrong in this line, it will only fail this specific contributor, and will also retry only this specific contributor. But all other contributors and loading the contributor data from the repository will just work fine, and I don't have to retry and run again the whole process of 26,000 contributors, but only this specific ones that has failed, for example. So Okay. So here we see every single contributor takes. We have between 10 and 20 seconds, which is still a lot of time. I try to find the load job. So let's stop Horizon for the moment. Okay, so here we have some that finish in less than a second. And you've seen here 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and so on. So I think if I go to batches, yeah. So we have finished 700 jobs. And this means that the first 500 full user entries have been processed. And now we have to process all of these anonymous users. And yeah, processing the anonymous users is way slower. So if this one succeeds, so if the contributor is already indexed with his primary email address, or at least the one that is used for the commit, everything is fine. Or if he uses his GitHub no reply email address, so if you go to the user, says this one here, ID plus your nickname at users.no-reply-github.com, and everyone can use this email address. And if you follow, if the contributor has used it for the commit, you can see here, sure, I check the email, but I also have some more complex logic to split out the ID and nickname and try to find the user by ID and nickname. So if this works, or this code works, but if the user has used an email address like this for this commit, this is just fine and runs pretty fast. But if we have to run into this one, I'll comment it out and run it again. And now we see here all in like no time. So like said before, this is definitely the slowest part of the whole application. And yeah, I think we can speed it up by moving the emails into the user table. So let's make a new migration. Add emails to users table. You can see I have the migration stub customized, so this void and static and so on is always here. And I have also a static table method on my models. which isn't before because I think that the table name will change ever. But I think that I migrate the model and not the table. So I think in models in primary way and not in tables. So the table is only the thing that is required by Eloquent to persist the data. But what I am thinking or what I am doing as a developer is I want to add this attribute to the user model. So we have a new JSON, and I think we should do with JSON B here. Which has some indexing stuff on in it, and also a bit faster for operations like database side in array and so on. And drop column emails. Okay. And now I only have one problem. That I have to, where is it? This logic to somewhere that runs in a given interval and fills the emails column with this one. So I think the first we can do is go to the migration and say user cursor each. That will be a bit more, so I will go with a regular function. We don't return anything. Or we could do an every because we do an update. So I have a boolean I can return. And this is user ID, username. Oh no, these aren't the real official format. And I already covered these special cases in the query scope. So, okay. And user emails. And yeah, for sure. I have to make this a real property now, not a read-only one. And I think that we can put this in the update user details job. So we have this user. Everywhere here, and it's void. Okay, so if the user doesn't have some GitHub access token, we can stop here and don't have to do anything. So don't care about this one. We also don't have to. I also don't have to migrate. No. It's totally fine if there's an empty array here, as I have this by email scope which I'm using. This already covers these two cases. Okay, so it's this user get some let's do the Unix still for just in case GitHub has whatever, I don't know. And so we have the emails, and we can use this one here, emails. So that's easy. And it's a single one, so we can do it in one line. And this means that we can delete this whole method. And the only thing we have to do is emails with an array. Okay, so we can migrate, everything fine. But check the users table where, okay. And emails is an array. Okay, so let's dispatch one job. Sorry. So user is user. Do we have user from name? No. So where name okay app models. Okay, so we have the right one, and we don't have the cacheable. attributes anymore. Okay. And let's add jobs, update user details. Dispatch with user. So it's this one, and also clear also batches. And dispatch this one again. So this, okay. Artist on horizon. What takes so long? Does it really take so long because it has to do 2 API calls? Could be that my internet is so slow because of the stream, and this means that the API calls are a bit slower than normally. Okay, no. Try it again is not a good sign. Let's stop it. And oh, wait, I think I have to do in DD. So let's start it again, and hopefully this time it works. Or at least dumps the email address. Okay, timeouts after 5 minutes. So oh, because of the back off, I think we would have to wait too long. So flush it again. Do this one. Dispatch it to the queue. Check the pending jobs. I don't know what, I will dispatch it sync. So dispatch sync now. Okay, what was it? dispatchable sync. Okay, just sync. Good. Okay, so we have the problem. If this is not null and it's cancelled, let's return with null, and otherwise we will go on. Okay, so here we have also email addresses, and can go back. Dispatch it. Check the database. Okay, we have also arrays, also emails in the array. So this works, and I want it to be part of the by email scope. Yeah, because if I want to get an user by an email address, I don't care if it's part of the email column or I already have this special logic here to also query by ID and name if I can extract it. So we can also add the query to check if it's in okay, so where in emails email, and I only have to get let's take this one. Okay, so if I do this and say app models user by email, this one first. Oh, okay, yeah, right. So wherein is the exact opposite of what I want. So wherein checks that the column emails would be part of the array I pass in, but I want to check that the string I pass in is part of the array in the column emails. So Laravel Postgres where string in JSON B array. Oh, this was so I think that it was this operator. Let's see. Okay. That's not cool. If anyone has an idea, just say so. I'm only searching some Stack Overflow. So someone said it. Yeah, it's this way. So this could work. Oh, man. Okay. Or possibly that way. Okay. This. No. Postgres escape @ sign and string. Wasn't there an no? Would be too easy. Yeah, why? Why am not trying this one? So yeah. But there is this any. So where? How does it work? Email with single quotes around it is in any emails. And I forgot to Close. Wrong object type. So db enable query log and try catch throwable. Don't care about it. And db get query log. Okay, so that's frustrating. Users where any okay, another try. So does the left JSON value contains an okay, so emails JSON B at emails no email JSON B. At least no exception. Okay. But we have also sys operator. How do I access? Is it really this hard to check if a string exists in an array? I will query string in JSON color. Okay. Let's start from scratch. From users where emails has this okay, so this string works. And what's this query? This one also works. But I assume that. Oh, this also works. Okay, so here's this where emails says. And try it now once again. Oh, I have an idea. And seems my idea was wrong. Enable query log and db get query log. What's wrong? It's this way. Select from users where emails. Oh, But wasn't this the exact same query I have here? Select all from users where emails. Oh, okay. So I think this is the right one now. Now we also have to add these quotes back. Okay, and yeah, use it to array. Okay, but I still believe if I do this, exactly. So it's because we have a where here, and yeah, so it's already an or where. So there's this where raw or where. Let's make it like all other. Or where email, and now we have an or where down there. So okay, and if I enable the query log and get it back, and I have no idea what have I done here. So select everything from users where emails contains this one or email equals this one. And okay. So one thing I can do is, or I can at least try to do, is add this one. Seems like this doesn't work, but I don't care right now. This should be optimized enough. So if anyone wants to contribute and has hours of his lifetime to work on this, do it. Okay, so we can put away all of this here. And can try Horizon now. So flush all again. There's not a single batch in. So okay. So this batch is a batch. It's here. Pending job also. So if we let Horizon work, now we have a lot of these entries and can watch the batch grow. Okay, and like you can see, we have already processed around about 1,000 jobs. Now 1.5. So a lot faster. If I go here, none of these jobs takes longer, not even a second. So in theory, now splitting it into a batch would also be kind of useless, or at least not a performance impact. But I think that it has a debugging impact. And like I said, if a single contributor fails because of whatever, we all know curl isn't this reliable and so on. It doesn't fail the whole repository contribution indexing, but only this single contributor has to be retried. And yeah, we have already 4,000. I don't know why it stops at 9,930, because the repository we are indexing here has, at least so far I know, it's more than 20,000. Yeah, 25,700. So contributions. Okay, possibly not the right one. And okay, contributors, sorry. Here we have. And the query args are per page we want 100. let's jump straight to page. Let's go 99 first, and we want anon true. Okay, so we have 99, page 100. So these are the first 10,000 and page 200. Okay, so seems like GitHub has a limitation here, so that we can't request more than the first 100 pages. GitHub API repos contributors. So we list the contributors here, and yeah, it says that we can't request more results than 100 per page, but that's also what we have defined. Pagination limit. Yeah, let's check if there's any response headers. Okay, so we have 28 records here. So this seems to match these 9,930 records. Rate limit remaining 52. Used 8 or 5. Request ID, content type options. Refer policy link. Okay, so it doesn't have a next link here. It's a link. If we go to page 99, okay, on page 99 we have the next link. Yeah, so seems like, and it's even here. This is last. So seems like GitHub limits the pagination to the first 100 pages. But that's something I have to or will or whatever. There's one pending job. Possibly because of rate limits, or do we do any Okay. But in general, this is all I wanted to do. So we have split this job into 2 jobs. We use the badge now to keep track of the jobs and have them all in one view here in Horizon. Don't know why this job is stuck right now. We'll see later. I've optimized this emails attribute, which was live request to the database or a cached API call all the time, and also required all users and them and PHP, so PHP collection filtering, which is always bad, only always. Povilas has some nice videos on this topic, and now all of these jobs are completed. Are finished about 10 seconds, 10 to 15. Definitely an acceptable number. So we have the batch link, all fine here. And the only thing we should have to check is repository and go to repository user, repository ID 449 records. Yeah. So it has created the users for the first 500 records, but because there isn't much or not any user in the database, in the anonymous. So a bit more, and possibly polish also checks why this job here is still pending. So I have no idea. We could try it and start it again. Possibly this helps. Yeah, but that's all I wanted to do, and we are already on nearly 2 hours on record. That it helped you to understand a bit of the open source code, and also one way you can optimize your queue to reduce the required time for a single job and utilize all workers of you. So 10 workers in parallel are better than one worker block several hours. And yeah, that's it. I wish you all a nice evening and remaining weekend, and have a nice next week. Yeah. See you.